Joshua Fisher, Alexander Desopoulos of the Charity Stripe, the Bleav Network. Mike Anguilano joining us from Bleav in Cavs. Mike, we're Texas guys. We've seen Ochai Agbaji up close and personal, which is the pick out of Kansas. He's a guy that's grown throughout the years, had a really strong season, obviously cutting down the nets, last team to do it. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on the pick and how he fits with the Cleveland Cavaliers?
So he fits well. As we were saying just a few seconds ago, he's a little bit older. He's 22. Branham or AJ Griffin would have been more of home run swings given their age and the age of their young core. Agbaji's already as old as Darius Garland is, and he's already older than Evan Mobley. So, I mean, for a team that's looking to make the playoffs now, for a team that is desperate for shooting, desperate for wing help, I think it makes a lot of sense. You can plug him in pretty quickly. He's not going to kill you on offense. He's a good finisher around the rim. He can body up on defense. So, makes a lot of sense. I probably would have taken Griffin. More of a home run swing, like I said, but I can't really argue with their choice.
Does this cheapen the Isaac Okoro pick a little bit, just because they have a similar skill set? I know Isaac Okoro is probably considered a more premier athlete, but Ochai, he can get up there. He can compete at the rim with bigs. I mean, he's an excellent dunker. He's an athlete in his own right. So, do you feel like this is a little bit of the same, but obviously he has the upside of the 3-point shooting ability?
I wouldn't say it cheapens it. Okoro is a very good defender. He's arguably their best defender. He's definitely their best perimeter defender. I don't know if it cheapens it. I don't even know how many minutes Agbaji is going to get immediately, because you look at the Cavs rotation. I mean, who is he going to be pulling from immediately? Maybe Jetty Osman, who didn't exactly get a whole bunch of minutes either. And they're going to sign a backup point guard to take on that playmaking. Agbaji doesn't quite have the playmaking. So I don't know how he's going to fit into the rotation immediately. I don't know if he's going to be stealing minutes from people, but maybe Jetty Osman. So I don't know if it'll cheapen it. Maybe in the long term, the Cavs do have to make a decision on Isaac Okoro, and his 3-point shooting did improve last year to a more passable at like 35-ish, 34-ish%. So I don't know if it cheapens it. They do have different skill sets, but they desperately need the shooting. Look, if Isaac Okoro was the shooter that Agbaji is, maybe they're taking a different player. But the reality is that they needed a guy to step in with some size, who can knock down some catch and shoot threes.
Well, I think maybe they could spell each other depending on what's going on late in the game or throughout.
They could, yeah. Oh, sure, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And it takes less pressure off of Okoro to score. And he's a guy that we really like coming out of Auburn, who's kind of been a little deflated. Like, he's not what we thought he could be. He was a big maybe boomer bust guy who's not quite lived up to his upside. But I think this kind of takes a little bit of pressure off Okoro.
Yeah, it does. He's not trustworthy in isolation. So you can't hand him the ball and say, go for it. They tried him at point guard in summer league to not go well. So he can't really create an isolation. So he is kind of reserved to that slash, off-ball movement type of role with the Cavs. He's kind of put into that catch and shoot three sort of role, and sometimes it works, and sometimes he's ice cold. I think for him, it's using that athleticism, slashing, constantly moving, being that young, fast, athletic player that he came out of college as. So it does take some pressure off him, though, and they could spell each other, but they are both going to be seeing the court plenty.
I do think that the nice silver lining, just last thing here with Agbaji, you did mention he's a little bit older, but he has, over the course of his college career, he increased his play every single game. I think he increased his points per game by 4 or 5 points from his junior to senior year. So that's a huge step up, obviously. And, guys that we're seeing in the NBA right now, like Jalen Brunson, right? He was a veteran in regards to college standards, and he takes a clear step forward as a 26-year-old. So there's still always room for growth. It seems like it's a possibility for a guy like Agbaji because he's already done it. So it's, silver lining there that I think while he is a little bit older, there's still always room for growth. And in a system like this where he's going to get some opportunity, even better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's got some room to grow. His handle can, use a little bit of work as well. Like I say, he's not the playmaker. He's not the isolation scorer. I think at the NBA level, you can't just hand him the ball and let him allow Darius Garland to work off ball. I don't think, you're going to be seeing that. But yeah, he's got a high ceiling, great for the Cavs who want to make the playoffs. And I think he's got a high floor. The ceiling is quite, he's got some room to grow. I don't think it's quite as high as some of those other guys that they may have passed on, like Malachi Branham or AJ Griffin. But I think he's a solid choice and fills an immediate need. And I'm excited to see him get on the court. I think he's going to see some immediate minutes. So it should be really fun.
Nice. Mike Anguilano, Bleav in Cavs. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yep. Thank you.